Okay, so let's start to drill down into these formulas. Okay, so right now I'm in the cell. Okay, and remember the cell is the same as the cell, is the same as the cell in terms of the formula. But this, you can see that as I move over, it's actually highlighting different rows and columns, even though the text is the same for the cell. That's because inside of this formula, it refers to other cells. So let's go to the basic formula. So it says if override counts is greater than 0, okay, then use the override amount. Otherwise, use the final calc. It's really simple to read, okay? It doesn't have to be, it's not a long formula. You could theoretically, using the regular Excel, put this whole thing in one big formula, but it becomes more complicated to read. It becomes more complicated to maintain. Okay, so again, let's just look how it reads. If the override counts are greater than 0, then use the override amount. Otherwise, use the final count. So first, let's look at override counts, okay? So we can go into formulas and look at evaluate formula, okay, and press evaluate. Okay, we're going to evaluate. Oh, actually, we'll step in. And now we're stepping into override counts, okay? Override counts is what counts if the table, if the account, okay, it's counting how many items are in the account. If that is if the accounts, the expense is E8, okay, E8 is the expense category, and if the month is from the month num, okay, so now we have another formula here, month num, okay, we have to figure that out. We'll get to that. I'm not going to do that next. All right, let's see. So when I clicked on evaluate, it basically converted that table to an address. I'm getting a little too complicated here, but I think I'll review and get back to you and it'll be clear. All right. All right. In that case, it counted 0, which makes sense because there are 0. In this case, there's going to be something here because I know that's what that color is. I explained that before. Let's just do that really quickly. And we'll go in to it, and it said true right away. Because I did evaluate, I didn't do step in. Let's go back, and we'll just do it again, and we'll see how I stepped in before. Override counts, this is where I was before. Step in, evaluate, and it's going to say 1. So that means there's 1 value here, so we can just check it. I'm sure we'll see this really quickly. So when it's the 8th month, manual, and let's see, 8th month manual, 8 here, right? Okay, so that's where that calculated the 1. All right, so let's back up a little bit. We'll go to name manager, and we'll go to month num. Month num is M2. All right, now it's M because I'm in the column M, but it's always column 2. It's always row 2. That's why it's a $2. All right, so let's go. Let's close that, and we'll go here, and you'll see what I mean. If I'm in J, it's going to be J $2 for a month now. See, that's J, now it's 5. So what this is doing is it's just calculating how many times month 5 and expense category 10 is in this table. All right. And then if it's greater than 0, then it's putting in the override amount. And the override amount is basically the same thing. Let's go to name manager, override amount. And we'll see that we can look at it this way. It is the sum of the amount in that table if the account is equal to what's in column E, okay, and if the month is what is in the month num, and we already looked at month num, and the month num, we can see here month num is J2. That's what this means. That's how to read that. Okay, so now we have the first two components of this formula. Override counts is greater than 0, override amount. All right, let me check on time. Okay, we were in 5 minutes so far. I'm not going to go to the third one on this in this video. I'll do that in the next video, but let's just review because I think it was a little confusing. Every one of these cells has the same exact formula. Again, there are a lot of advantages, which I'll still get to in future videos, but having the same formula is just great. Then it has, this formula is override counts greater than 0. So override count is when you have an override in this table. If there's something in this table that's at all, then it becomes greater than 0. The override count is greater than 0. And then if that is the case, it takes the sum of whatever is in here. We could now, I'll just add right now another one of this and put in 10,000. So now it's going to be 10,400. It's looking for the sum. And there it is, 10,400. Okay. So let's use this defined, use the name manager. That may be easier to see until you experiment. Once you start playing and experimenting, you'll see that using this button, the evaluate formula, is actually pretty easy to use. So because I happen to be in the M column, the month number is equal to M2, and again, it's always going to be on row 2 because that's why the $ is there. That's where the month is. And let's go to the override count. So it's counting how many times that expense, which is always going to be in the E column for that row, wherever I am, and I happen to be on row 13. So E13 and month num. So that will count that, and then I'll know how many overrides there are. And if it's greater than 1, then it's going to use oh, this is actually interesting. It copied over this formula here because I moved the table over, so it automatically copied that over. I don't need this actually. I'm going to delete it. It's the same exact formula, but I don't need it. I'm going to delete it, and it should still work just fine because I only need it from the expenses tab. All right, so override counts again is here. Now override amount is doing the sum of whatever is in that table, and it is filtering it for the expense and the month. And that's how I got to that 10,400. All right, I'm going to go to the next video in a second, and you'll see how that final calculation is made.